At Fairchild Air Force Base, in the northeastern corner of Washington State, there is a serious group of military experts whose training defies logic and whose small numbers reflect why what they do is truly special. They are graduates of the U.S. Air Force SERE Technical Training School that breeds, nurtures, and develops a superior and elite group of risk takers known as SERE. SERE stands for Survival, Evasion, Resistance, and Escape. It is an acronym that covers a very broad spectrum of specific skill sets that push both the physical and the psychological boundaries of human tolerance. Twelve separate but interrelated phases make up their initial 6-month training course as SERE specialists move from one environmental extreme to another. SERE candidates are pushed as far as humanly possible to the brink of physical and emotional exhaustion to test the mettle of those wanting to join this fraternity of super freaks. In only their 3rd phase, having endured endless days on the trail, living off few calories and even fewer hours of sleep, the faces of these SERE candidates pretty much say it all.
I'm cold, I'm wet, I'm hungry.
You learn to hate Mother Nature because it just beats you up every turn.
One steep cliff, dropping down right immediately to another one, and right back up, and right back down.
I probably averaged about an hour and a half a night for 10 days. 2 of those nights, no sleep at all.
You have to have that will to endure, to take care of yourself and do all the proper things to survive. When you fall down, and you fall down, you fall down. You just get back up, get back on the horse, keep riding.
Over the course of their training program, SERE candidates will be given many opportunities to quit, and over 65% of those that start will gladly oblige. Every aspect of training has been designed to eliminate those not up to the task of this demanding profession.
It's all about heart, it's all about mentally strong. It's about refusing to stop. It's about refusing to give up.
My team started with about 57, 18 graduated. Look around, only one of you 10 is gonna make it. So I told the other 9 guys to pick a different job, but I'm the only one left standing out of those 10.
First of all, I want to do something I can look back on and say, you know what, I did that, it was really tough. I got through it.
A lot of people talk the talk, but after 6 months of exhaustive, almost cruel training, it proves the mettle and worthiness of these well-polished, fire-tested SERE specialists who actually walk the walk.
It's not for somebody who can't deal with stress, can't deal with hard times.
They don't need to have the skill sets of being able to start a fire or build a shelter out in the field. That's what the school is here for.
This insanely radical bunch embrace, if not welcome, extremes that most people would never think about subjecting themselves to. Those that meet them are immediately drawn to them, enamored by the unsurpassed confidence and almost inspirational conviction they have for what they do.
Any environmental condition that you could possibly think of outside of a natural disaster is what we've been through. And all the while, we still are task saturated. We have to meet a certain amount of objectives throughout a day. We're still going 100 miles an hour, building a fire, building a shelter, whatever the case may be for that exact scenario.
No, the job is not for everyone. It's gonna take somebody that's a little bit tougher, someone that's very dedicated and mentally and physically strong.
You gotta be different. Jumping out of aircraft, scuba diving, teaching combatives.
The training that they receive after they complete their initial training, there is about 56 weeks of upgrade training to make them mission ready.
It is pretty awesome, the responsibility the Air Force charges with us. After 6 months of training, they throw you into combat survival training for Air Force aircrew members. And to see young individuals with the responsibility of 7 to 10 lives, taking them out to our training area, miles away from the nearest road, for an 18, 19-year-old to be able to pull that off and have the record that we have is a credit to the instructors that came before me to build us to do what we do today.
If you ask any SERE specialists themselves if they feel any empathy for those they are training, those that are being subjected to the living hell ordeal that they once endured themselves, their message is consistent.
No, I don't have any empathy for my students. I've been there, I've adapted, and I've overcame. I still pushed on for what the mission needs. I've still built my shelter, still built my fires.
When it comes down to these guys being wet, being tired, not getting much sleep, or hungry and thirsty for water, I went through the same thing. So I understand what they're going through, but at the same time, I'm not going to feel sorry for them.
The pilots and aircrew members that come through Fairchild as a requirement for their flying career get only a small taste of the survival experience that those who train them have gone through.
Coming out of the resistance training was probably one of the most memorable events that I'll have. I mean, I never really heard about the way things finished there, but I mean, it's definitely a tearjerker.
I'd have to say it's probably the most intense training I've ever been through in my life. I would rather have this training and not need it than need it and not have it.
The men and women of SERE are often shadow warriors, whose contributions often go unnoticed by the masses, but are greatly appreciated by those operating in harm's way, hiding in a place of concealment, or who are in the hands of an enemy captor. Captain Scott O'Grady, an F-16 pilot who was shot down over Bosnia in 1995 and evaded capture for 6 days, says this about his experience at SERE School and the specialist who trained him.
The men and women of SERE are fantastic. I'm alive today because of them. Their confidence and expertise and just the dedication that they put into my training and all the students, without question, prepared me for those days where I actually was in a real-world combat survival situation. I never gave up hope, never lost faith, because I always remember our survival instructors telling us to reach for those small victories and to never give up and to constantly have a will to survive. But the thing I absolutely admire the most is their undying and absolute conviction to their mission.
Our slogan for the schoolhouse is to return with honor. And when people come back from their isolated event or from being captured and tell us that without the SERE training, they would have never made it, is the reason why I wake up at 0600 every day.
We are the line of communication between the downed person behind enemy lines and the recovery asset.
Been to the desert, been to South America, been over to Asia. I've worked with special operations forces throughout the world. I have fellow SERE specialists that can recount stories of that aircrew member they may have taught. And he came walking off the helicopter after being recovered, and he's like, hey, thanks a lot, I really appreciate it. So definitely a huge impact for us.
More often than not, SERE specialists are the on-site experts in any recovery center. Case in point is Tech Sergeant James Hangsleben, a SERE specialist who is also this year's Kite Award winner, an award given to the individual who had the greatest significant impact in the business of personal recovery.
As a SERE specialist, we perform very unique jobs within the reintegration process. We're responsible for first meeting the returnee, if need be, getting information from them about anybody else that may still be out there.
We are operational. I was deployed in summer of 2007. I was in Qatar for 3 months, in Afghanistan for a month. All the while, we still have a mission going on over there through reintegration. That's what we do while we're deployed.
I received the Joint Service Achievement Medal for my work down in Central America, as well as the Army Achievement Medal for my work in Costa Rica.
In the last 10 to 15 years, the SERE specialist career field has gone through a transformation. We are truly providing operational support to the warfighter.
The will to survive is something that's difficult to measure and is as unique to someone as their own identity. It is the essence of skill, faith, and courage that drives a person to continue when others would quit, press on when others would fold, and keep their faith when others have lost hope. The measure of a person's individual will to survive, or internal strength, is not even something that the trained observer can see with the naked eye. It's something that a person either has or they don't have when they come face to face with adversity, peril, or death.
I mean, this is my classroom. Today's not the optimal day, but some days you're gonna have those days.
I get a lot of opportunities to do cool stuff, jump out of airplanes, jump out of helicopters, scuba dive with all kinds of different equipment in all kinds of different places, and work with great people all over the world.
It's a great job, I love it. I mean, that's why I'm sticking with it. It's my second enlistment. Doesn't get any better than this for me personally.
Having walked the narrow but significant line that separates the edge of things from the end of things, these professionals understand that man can live 40 days without food, 7 days without water, 3 minutes without air, yet not a single second without hope. Their ranks among the Air Force population are few, but their reputation and respect is widespread. They are an elite cast of operational characters, warriors with a warrior's heart, top-tier examples for all those who aspire to return with honor.